Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a fairly balanced rack. It's not bingo-y. But can I get the J doubled? I have Jabot. Is there a way of playing off the U as well? I have the out prefix. No, not seeing anything better than Jabot for 44. Pretty good. This looks really close to a bingo. Onto an I would have the sore eye. But this looks like there could be a 7 here. But I'm not seeing it. So from the O, I've got out here's art house and rat house. Nothing with the J. How about the A? Arethusa. Wow, fantastic. It may be that all of these are blocked with a parallel play. But for the moment, all of these floaters are available. Not seeing anything with the B. But this rack is so good. Every floater looks potentially useful. How about the T? No, not seeing anything. So if opponent changes, what would be my preference? Arethusa places an A in the middle of a triple word square lane, but does get doubled, and therefore is going to score more than rat house. Wow, the A stays available. Opponent does provide opportunities for 7-letter plays, but they don't get doubled. Now, what about the plays through the O? They may get additional value. Art house, that doesn't work. Nor would rat house. Out here's doesn't fit. So, Arethusa it is. For 72. Pretty good. That looks jolly close to another bingo, but even if there isn't a bingo, it's much better than an average set of 7 random tiles. So why did I think this may be a bingo? I've got the non-prefix. I don't think non-bendy is good. I've got the ed ending. By prefix. So I've got beyond as a 6 on the rack. Let me consider the floaters. Nothing with the A has come to mind. Although that does look the most useful. How about the R? No. E, no. T. No. J. And I'm looking for bingos at this point. B. No, I'm not seeing a bingo, so how can I get value and sort the rack out? I'd like to play off B and Y and one of the ends. So a player bony somewhere would achieve that. Wow, nice bingo for opponent. And surely I can do something at the top. So I have Bray. Let me just see what this scores. 39 points. Pretty hopeless rack leave. Do I have anything running across the top? And also there's coming across the top from the left. What can go in front of the I? The D can, and the B. No, not seeing anything there. What about running across the top of the second half of firearms? Well, this has got 3 consecutive consonants, so I don't think very much is going to be on offer here. But can I do better than Bray? What about Droney? I think this leaves a much better rack leave. 30 points. A drop of 9 points to have Ben rather than Don. Well, the duplicate N by itself is worth -5. E is a couple of points better than the O. So this is a better play. Is there a way of playing off the B as well? I don't think so. And what about a 6-letter play beginning above the S? So I had beyond. Well, that doesn't work. Ah, wow, look at that. Beyond does work here. 41 points, wow. Tempting. My takes nothing in front, so this isn't particularly dangerous. Beyond does take an S, and that's the danger. However, I think this is the best of the moves I've considered. Not a good pickup, but I am drawing 6 random tiles. So, what to do here? Do I have a play in row D? I'd quite like to take out the S danger. So I do. I have Y, O, U, Nye and Do. Not a great rack leave, but I have Vi vowel, so it's very hard to sort out in one go. Do I have anything top left? No, I don't. My takes a C after it. I do have, well, I was going to say U, but yeah, but not good. So NU, the best I can do up here. Yeah, so at the moment, YOU is the move I'm looking at. So takes an I and a D in front. Now, if that spot is blocked, what do I have around U2? Not very much. My Y can go in both spots, but I'm struggling to play off other tiles. I have Joey down from the J, but that doesn't get doubled. Wow, another bingo by opponent. Gosh, straight after firearms, opponent picks up a bingo, and well spotted with 2 eyes. And now, well, I still lead. I was going to say I trail, but I lead. So this is what I was thinking of. It doesn't really take out the S danger, it just restricts it. But this does sort my rack out to some extent. If I draw consonants, I should be okay. But I just can't see a way of playing off more vowels. Let me put this back. What about the C? Not seeing anything through that. Trismic has taken out the J as a useful floater. So I have uncoy. 20 points, keeping double EO. Well, the N helps that. I'm going back to U for 23. And I draw, well, a consonant, but also more vowels, so not a great rack to have. No scoring tiles at all. But if I play off just OI, then the remaining 5 tiles, although vowel heavy, are quite bingo-y. So is there a nice spot for IO or OI? Well, there's OI, Abo and Rye. IO and Joe. What about the C? I'm not seeing a way of playing off 3 vowels and only 3 vowels. If I burn the N as well, I've got Oni. But then it's moving into racking territory. Preserving the N and the R is pretty essential for this rack leave to be good. Now, ISO is good. I have an I. Do I have a 6-letter play? Don't think so. 32 points for opponent. That's pretty good. He takes out my IO spot. So this was the other spot I was considering for 12 points. Pretty grim, but this is a nice 5-letter set. And I have an R for making your. And the C is a pretty useful floater with this set. Well, let me consider this positioning. 13 points, that's slightly better, I think. Yeah, doesn't give much away. I'm going with this. So, what do I have? I draw 2 consonants. But I don't think I have a bingo here. Newly are not good, I don't think. Although newly is. No, not good. So, The C was the floater I thought might be useful, but that doesn't go well with the W. Do I have any 6-letter plays beginning with I? I don't think so. But if I play off just the W, I have a pretty good rack. So I could play we and nigh, keeping liner. 22 points, that's not bad. I could also play we and fee, but we takes so many front hooks that that's not going to be a good play. Not many good spots for the W in terms of premium squares. E-Rev is got, not E-Rev is... Wow, another bingo for opponent. And I now trail by 40 points. Do any of these floaters assist? Well, it's just the S and the N. And I don't think they do. And opponent has taken out my we spot. So, what to do? Very tricky. I do now trail. This is what I was thinking of, we for 20, but if opponent's got an A, E or O, he's got a pretty slam dunk 30 or 40 points, so that can't be good. And if I play off any more tiles other than W and E, well, I'm racking. So, I'm still in the game. I trail by only 40. Ah, well, this is a much better spot, isn't it? Few here for 24. Yes, that doesn't give too much away, but does create a new lane because of twit. I'm going with this. Not good. However, I have Nerlia, but opponent's play of Taipans has blocked the R hook. Does Nerlia play anywhere else? Wow, nice play by opponent. I don't think it does. It would have played if I'd played WE. I thought it played in row K. TI and RE good, but IR scuppers it. Do I have anything beginning with S? I don't think so. So, although this rack is a bingo, I think I need to keep scoring to stay in touch with opponent, and I'm going to struggle to score without making a play like this. Still one blank to come. I'm going with this. Okay, well, close to a bingo, but I'm not seeing one. What do I have here? This is quite a tight board, which benefits opponent. 2 T's and a blank to come for twit. That's not a fantastic lane. However, at the moment, I'm only a bingo behind. The C is a floater, but only for bingos with a C in precisely 3rd place, so that's not hugely useful. Great, opponent's opened a new lane. Probably means he's keeping a pretty handy 5-letter set. Not much I can do about that. Am I sure I don't have a 7 with this rack? If I do, I think it plays. No. Okay, well, quite a good time to open a new lane. How best to do that? What about Doco? Keeping card, 14 points, pretty grim. That invites opponent to play across from the D, which would create new lanes. Card is pretty good, it goes well with any of these 6 E's. But the bad thing about this play is that the score is dismal. No S's to come, so just the one blank, and that's the only tile which can go after Doco. So I could be gifting opponent the opportunity to play in row L. Can I do something better? 12 minutes on my clock. I trail by only 40. Coup is good, but I don't have a 6-letter play. Doco certainly sorts the rack out really well, but is there somewhere better to play DWO? I don't think there is, and I do need to play off the D. Duplicate D is pretty hopeless. So I'm going with this Doco for 14. Not a good pickup. But I do have Drac in row H, which will score well. Should opponent bingo, it will keep me in the game, just about. So what if opponent takes that spot? And he does, but only 30 points, and he's provided new floaters. I don't have anything down from double O, which would be a 6-letter play. So a tricky rack to deal with. Just looking to see if I've got a play down from the F, but again, it would be a 6-letter play I'm looking for. Well, what about playing Drac down here? This is going to score well, 37 points, create new floaters. K, not massively useful as a bingo-y floater. I'm turning over tiles, which increases my chances of drawing a blank if it's not on opponent's rack. And this is totally sorting the rack out. And I think I need a more volatile board, given that I trail. I'm going with this. Okay, well, looks quite a nice balanced rack. And I have scoring tiles, and this column 2 lane is pretty handy. But I'm not seeing a bingo with this rack. Am I sure about that? Well, I'm certainly not seeing a 7. What about the floating T? Nope, not seeing anything there. How about the K? I've got the like ending. Gosh, so close to hive-like. What about the C? No. Okay, well, 14 tiles to come, including the Q and the Z. They could prove to be significant. So what am I going to do with this rack? I guess play off the V somewhere and try and score. I have Kiev if opponent doesn't take out the K. That would be quite nice. Scoring well, decent rack leave. I'm still looking for a bingo, but I don't think there is one here. Great, opponent burns the blank for only 46 points, and Kiev remains available. 33 points, keeping heel. There's still column 2, although pretty much only column 2. But this keeps me alive. Kiev for 33. Wow, I draw the second V. How irksome. So I don't have a 7-letter bingo. And it's tricky to open new lanes. Still one I to come for QI. What I can do is play halved and who. I trail by 40. If opponent doesn't have a bingo, he may struggle to block that. Although a play of ZE would be quite nice for him. Remaining tiles do have some bingo potential, but there's no S's or blanks, and there are also a lot of duplicates, or some duplicates, in particular the 3 Gs. So opponent a big favourite now, but the game not over yet. So what if halved is blocked? Tricky. Only 7 tiles to come. Very hard to open a lane without it just being closed down. And if opponent turns over tiles, then halved may leave me with fewer than 7 tiles, so I may have to think of something else. But really hard to open the board up. And also I would be looking to play off the V. Great, only 2 tiles played by opponent, but look at that, 5 tiles in the bag. So halved isn't going to be good. Now, I only trail by 45 points. I'm just wondering what the best play here is. I do have to play off the V, but what if I played off just the V? Then if I drew one of the 2 ends, I would have handler. which plays in numerous spots in column 2. I have E-Rev for 11 points. Am I dependent on drawing the N? And is there a way of creating a new lane? And with no blanks, is there a way of creating a new lane that only I can benefit from? And I'm looking at playing through the U. So I could play UVA. Interesting. Opponent may feel, well, opponent could have Zir onto that. So this doesn't feel amazing. I have Vax. 13 points, the same number. What about a play down from TR or I? Very tricky. Zoo is good. So if opponent's got the Z, it's going to be fairly easy for him to take out column 2. So what a waste of time playing the V up here, rather than trying to open the board. I could play Love, but then nothing goes after that. And I think I do need to play off the V because it's so non-bingo-y. Gosh, and can I play off the H with the V? I could empty the bag with halve. Well, fortunately I have 7 minutes to try and think of something to play. So what if I don't play the V? Then I'd need to play off the H. What do I have down the bottom? Nothing. UH takes nothing after it, so that's not opening a new lane. Wow, I feel there must be something to play which creates a new lane at the bottom of the board. And there are 5 tiles in the bag, so I can play off a maximum of 4. What about a play in row K? Nope, just not seeing one. Nothing begins VU. I just want to create a new lane. And not obstruct the existing one. So what about playing Hurl for 8 points? Opponent might play Zal, in which case he empties the bag. So I get 8, 333. I trail by 37. Opponent gets 36, and I think I win with a column 2 bingo. Yep, I am going with... Am I going with this? Is there a shorter play? No, I am going with this. Gosh, that's so close. So close to avenged, but I don't have it. No, I do not have a 7-letter bingo here. Wow, and nothing onto the L. But 2 tiles in the bag, so opponent doesn't know what I have. From opponent's perspective, I will have bingos. Will opponent play off just 1 tile, in which case I can play off just 1 tile? And if I do play off one tile, it'll be the V, and I have a couple of spots for that. 39 points for opponent. Well, opponent's emptied the bag, so this is the end of the game. If I did have a bingo now, it would win the game, but I don't think I do. No, so how can I score well? Do I have a 6-letter play? I don't think opponent's going out in 1. So I have agenda on my rack. That doesn't play in column 2. 4 minutes on my clock. Just looking for plays beginning with D, G, or N. No, not seeing anything. Have I overlooked any lanes or floaters? I don't think so. So is there a way of playing off the V to get a decent score? Well, I can play Vanda. I don't think this V is particularly useful for opponent. The A might be. But the game is lost. And can I go out in 2 spots with EG? I have Reg and I have Neg, so I can. I'm going with this. Wow, such a critical move, the hurl one. I wonder if there were alternatives which burnt the V. So where's the best spot for GE? Nowhere fantastic. Yeah, nice score by opponent. So I have Gay here for 10. Can I do any better? 3 minutes on my clock. Deg is the same. Nothing plays around the G of Slag. Well, there may be something slightly better, but not massively so. And the final score, 371 for me, 439 for my opponent, a winning margin of 68 points, so well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. It was me to go first. I had this rack and I played Jabot, and I think that looks fine. And this is where opponent plays off 2 U's, which was a nice play. And I have Arethusa, and that's the only bingo. Great rack for opponent. Well, doesn't have a vast number of bingos, but he does have a couple. And now I play Beyond for 41, and that's fine. And opponent C13 could have played Scrim and Beyonds, retaining his blank, but instead plays Trismic, which was a nice spot. And now I still lead, but I have a troublesome rack. What do I do here? I play U for 23. Yeah. And C2, Ina. But look at that, keeping 4 vowels. Big difference between keeping 4 vowels and keeping 3 vowels and a consonant. So I think my play is fine. Opponent's rack plays we. Now E5, heroine and knight. That's nice. What do? I play IO for 13. So I play IO, keeping double E INR. Is double E INR 19 points better than I? No, it's not. So I think heroin would have been better. I is worth probably about -1. And WEINR, possibly worth 6 or 7. So certainly not a 19-point difference. Now, opponent's rack. And he has a couple of bingos. B14, Pastiner and Use. But plays taipans. Now, my rack, no bingo, and I play few for 24, and I think that looks fine. And I trail by about 20. Opponent plays tucks, and I have nowhere for it, and I play inlia, which I think is fine. Opponent plays oo, so let's have a look at this. Opponent plays oo from this rack. Yeah, I think that's just about okay. Keeping quite a nice 5-letter set. So, I11, a chord through the C. Yeah, that's quite nice. And I played Doko for 14. What do I retain? I keep card, and a chord was 8 more points, keeping Do. Probably not much between those. Opponent's rack plays D-fat, and now I have Drac for 37, and at this point I only trail by 20, and there are several bingo lanes on the board. Opponent has the blank, plays Queen, and here we go, only 10 tiles left, and I trail by a bingo, but there are lanes available. Vakil through the K. Okay, well I play Kiev, and I think Hail is a nice 4-letter set. And I don't wish to expedite the end of the game since I'm not leading, so I prefer my play. Opponent, not a great rack, plays Slag for 5, and now I trail by only 45, and halved would have meant I trailed by about 9, but with the Z to come, very easy scoring spot bottom left. I think I would have really struggled to win simply by outrunning my opponent without a bingo. So I think Hurl still has merit, because if I bingo, I win. And opponent, if I'd played halved, would have been able to play Z. As it is, he plays Zil. Let me just go back to the Hurl choices. Yeah, nothing standing out there. So opponent plays Zil. Phew, no game-winning bingo leaping out. Vanda, F2. Vanda and Do. That would have been quite nice. I play it in a different spot for 3 fewer points. Opponent plays Venge. And finally, Gel, G12. Gel, Neff, and Age. That would have been 6 more points. So, what a game. Very technical game in the sense that it was fairly precariously balanced, and I trailed beyond the halfway point, and there were limited bingo lanes on the board, and I was trying to keep more than one bingo lane available, and the really tricky move was the Hurl one. But on brief analysis, I couldn't see anything particularly better than Hurl, but I suspect on that move there probably was a winninger play. Anyway, many congratulations to my opponent on his victory. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.